Hi everyone, today we're going to learn about a mathematical routine called Notice and Wonder. The mathematical routines we will be using kind of like a warm-up at the beginning of math classes each day. In this particular mathematical routine, we have two parts that we want to consider when engaging in this. The first part is making statements or observations. And the second part is asking questions that you may have about a particular image that is given to you. The Notice and Wonder mathematical routine actually hits several of the math practices that the Common Core State Standards really want teachers to use during class time. So the first one is making sense of problems and persevering in solving them. Perseverance is really a life strategy, not just a strategy to be used in math. And that means that you continue to work on something even when it's hard, because remember, when you make mistakes, the most learning happens. Another mathematical practice that this routine addresses is reason abstractly and quantitatively. Quantitatively means it has to do with numbers. And abstractly means that sometimes you can make observations or ask questions that have nothing to do with math. It's, patterns, or it could be colors or some other, critique that you can bring to the class discussion. A third mathematical practice that this routine addresses is constructing viable arguments and critiquing the reasoning of others. That's a lot of really big words. Basically, it means that when you have an observation or question, that you're able to justify it with evidence, and that we critique others' reasoning by being very respectful and understanding that there are really no wrong answers to these routines. It's more of what everybody is perceiving in their own lens. The fourth one is looking for and making use of structure. So the structure of the math routine is that we have an image. You'll make observations and ask questions to yourself, either in your head or in your math notebook, and then we will share as a class. And the final one is looking for and expressing regularity in repeated reasoning. So again, it's understanding that your reasoning that you have for making your observations can be generalized across situations. So, like I said at the beginning of this slideshow, the mathematical routine Notice and Wonder has two prompts. So one of the prompts is, what do you notice? And the other prompt is, what do you wonder? So sometimes students in the past have set up their math notebook page into a T-chart, kind of like this, but they don't have the sides on it necessarily, or the bottom lines. And they say, I notice on one side, and then I wonder on the other side. So basically, when you are making observations, you're going to be making statements under the notice side. And I often encourage people to use the sentence starter, I notice that there is a pattern of colors in this image. I notice that most of the shapes are squares. So really trying to use the I notice and be very careful with the vocabulary. On the other side of the T-chart, if you choose to do a T-chart, some people just kind of made a line across their page and did on the top what they noticed and on the bottom what they wondered. So again, wonder is more of questions. What kind of questions came up to you when you were looking at these images? And yes, these questions can literally be, I wonder why this person took a picture of 42 apples with only one red apple. And that'll make more sense once you see some of the images that we look at. So again, I really strive to use mathematical vocabulary. So being able to ask the question beginning with I wonder why this person took this picture, or whatever your other wonderings are. So that's the primary setup of a page in your math notebook. And if we are doing it online, then you can still use a T-chart to jot down your I notice statements and your I wonder questions. Okay, basically these are the steps that we're going to use in the notice and wonder mathematical routine. So the first thing is you're going to silently study the image. So you'll be presented with an image, probably on a slideshow that I've made either in the classroom or online, and you'll have time to just think about it, look at it, and not really talk to anybody else. The second step is making your list of observations. Again, you can use a T-chart, you can use half the page, whatever organizational strategy you want to use. When you're doing I notice that, you can, again, use colors, shapes, numbers, patterns, configurations, sizes, whatever comes to mind. Obviously, you know, we're looking for some math vocabulary, some math observations, but trust me, I've had students talk about the reflection of the light on the Othello pieces. So it's really a time to just make creative observations. Basically, what are you seeing? The third step, again, is the what do you wonder? Again, you can use your T-chart, half a page, any organizational strategy you want to use. Types of questions you can say are, I wonder why the author took this picture. I wonder where this picture was taken. I wonder, did the author do this just for math class, or were they doing this for something else? I wonder how this person thought of taking the picture. Again, these are the question part of the notice and wonder. And then we're going to share our observations and our questions with the class. And again, this is a safe place. I really strive to have a classroom where people feel okay with sharing their observations. Again, there is no right or wrong reason, observation or question when doing this mathematical routine. All of us are different people. So I look forward to demonstrating one with you. And again, we will be using this throughout the school year.